Welcome everybody, Duckphil. Going to bring you some Heart of the Swarm action today. We've got another PvZ coming at you right now. It is going to be on New Kirk City, of course. Down at the bottom right hand side is our red Protoss player. He's playing for Team Root Gaming. It is Minigun. And his opponent just across to the opposite corner. Down in the bottom left there is our blue Zerg player, now playing for Team Exile 5. It is Pig. Of course, the Australian player doing really well, switching teams just recently, though. Of course, he's going to try his hand with the Exile 5 team, and we'll see how he goes. Of course, it should be a really fun little adventure for him. Let's talk about the map. Of course, you know, New Kirk City, a pretty big map with lots of expansions going on. You can take a third down at this side. Some people like to take their third up at this opposite side here. It sort of depends how you like to play there and the particular matchup, and of course, what race you are yourself. Whereas, you know, there is also a fourth just off to the side, covered by destructible debris. Not to mention, there is a collapsible rock tower, which you can bring down to block off that base if need be. It's actually really interesting. Like, a lot of players like to they knock down their opponents. So they, what I've seen some Terrans do, which is one of the craftiest things I've seen a Terran do, run a Marine up here, and then shoot the rock tower down so that it drops down. Then you can just like sit a Marine up here, and I don't think it can hit that the guys are down there, but it can be quite annoying if you're trying to fly by with like a medevac or with a you know, an Oracle or an Overlord or something like that, and it gets it takes a little bit of damage. But it's pretty cute, not necessarily a game-changing thing, but still interesting nonetheless. So what I'll be interested to see is how Pig plays out this particular game. Of course, Minigun known for just being a general all-round really good Protoss player. Of course, in Team Root Gaming with some of their other fantastic players as well. And we'll see how he goes here. Looks like he's going to block off. Pig is going to have his natural blocked off for just a little bit there. A little bit of micro trying to get the drone around into the optimal position to take a shot at the probe. It looks like Minigun not going to bring the probe home just as of yet, or build a pylon. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough money to build the pylon because he's already gotten started on his Nexus, of course, the Forge there as well, and the secondary pylon just coming about. So unable to block the hatchery for too much longer, keeps the probe alive, which is always a nice thing to have. You can keep this guy inside. Have a quick look at whether your opponent has taken their gas, whether you know, the timing that's coming along. Of course, if you see a Zerg with their gas this early, then there could be something a little bit fishy going on, so you have to be careful about these kinds of things. But what he is going to do is just fall back for now. Looks like Pig is going to take the third base just down here, so he is going to go for what I would say is a little bit of a safer one in terms of being able to defend. However, it is a little bit more susceptible to attacks, just purely because it's closer to the attack path. Of course, a Protoss player will want to just dive straight down this path here and attack straight into that third, whereas if it's up here, it's a little bit further away. However, of course, you know, they both have their pros and cons, so it sort of depends on how you like to play it and what your particular play style is going to be like. So we do see Pig sending across a couple of links, unfortunately not able to bust through the front door. Looks like Minigun just going to finish up this wall with the cybernetics core just across to the side here. And with the cannon at the back, he's going to be looking fine. So the standard sort of very normal sort of economic play coming out of both of these players now. We see Minigun also picking up both of his assimilators inside the main. Of course, you know, when you're playing as a Protoss player, you want to keep an eye on what stuff comes from the gas first. You want to see, is it going to be you know, a weapons research right at the start? Is there going to be, you know, a second, even a third or fourth gas down here at the natural, promoting that there could be something to do with, you know, Stargates or DTs or anything like that? Of course, DTs have made a slight resurgence in Heart of the Swarm, given the fact that the Dark Shrine no longer costs 70 million gas to build. It still takes about 7 years to build, though, so it still does take quite a while, but you can get it out a little bit faster. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on all those sorts of things here. As we can see from Pig, it looks like that third base is finished up. He's going to continue to drone up. Now that the third is done, he'll probably start taking the lead in the work account there, and as you can see, he has already done so, up to 36 drones with more on the way. So as I said, it'll be really cool to see how Minigun plays this, because I haven't actually personally been watching Minigun too much as of late, so I'm not sure of what his Heart of the Swarm style is like at the moment. Looks like just for the time being, he's going to go straight up to the Robo, has not even gotten started on +1 weapon, so this could be very interesting. It may be the start of some sort of Immortal Sentry based play. Is going to push across the map with the Zealot and that Stalker as well. They're going to find this third base just mining away quite nicely, so he is going to put a little bit of pressure on here. Maybe if he can get some damage on some of these drones, he'll be very happy with that. Pig will build quite a few lings to try and get some defense out against that, but not really going to be too needed right here, because Minigun is, I don't know if he's going to put a heavy amount of pressure on. Looks like with the lings there as well, he's not really going to be able to get too much done. Minigun is going to lose that Zealot at a minimum, but the Queen almost dead. What is she going to do? Looks like the Mothership Core, that is very low. Oh my god, and it does actually go down. Despite throwing down the Time Warp there, he actually loses the Mothership Core, so he will need to build another one right here. It looks as if it is just going to be a simple expand build. It's not going to be something too crazy right off the bat with Immortals or anything like that. Is forced to rebuild the Mothership Core as well. Has a couple of extra gates back inside the main, so he is going to just go for what I would assume is a little bit of an expand build, but we'll have to clarify very soon. And in fact, with the Twilight Council, interesting. Alright, so there's a couple of options that now open up for Minigun. Of course, there is the possibility of an early blink tech. We could see this Observer providing some, high ground vision inside the main. He may even just try and blink in through the backside here, and then blink straight up onto this little, I don't know what you'd call that, just that little front porch there. But he is going to definitely take a third base. As we can see here, the Nexus going down. He's now going to just try and keep the map control with this Mothership Core, pushing the lings off the Xel'Naga watchtower, and his Observer is going to come through. What is he going to spot? Well, Pig's gotten his economy up and rolling. He's up to 71 drones right now. Has a Hydra Den on the way. The macro hatch is just about coming through as well. So he's going to have a lot of production capability on his hands. And it looks like Pig is going to stick with a Roach Hydra composition. Of course, this one, a few months back in Wings of Liberty, you'd say, well, this is the worst thing ever. But now in Heart of the Swarm, and even in Wings of Liberty, just as of late in the dying hours of Wings of Liberty, we've seen a lot of Zerg players throw out a Roach Hydra based play. It's really interesting. So meanwhile, we do have an attack going on. Ling's just trying to get in here and get some damage done on the third base. Unfortunately, no way they're able to get too much done there, because these sentries are just piling on those force fields there. So Minigun does know of generally what's going on here. Sees the Hydra Den there, as well as the Roach Warren as well, and it certainly does look like Minigun is going to go for a timing attack here just after the third base completes, just because we've got the level 2 weapons on the way. In fact, he may want to wait for that, but there is a Warp Prism coming about as well, so this is going to be really interesting to see how he plays this here. We've got a lot of gas starting to build up for Minigun as well, so with a couple of extra gates, we've now got a total of how many gates is that? We've got 6 gates in total. It's not a massive amount, but it's certainly something to that he could utilize in a push here. I think what he may be looking to try and do is try and cut down some of these Hydras before they are able to get a massive amount of forces out. But in fact, he has a quick look, pokes across the map and says, alright, there's a lot of Hydras out here. I'm not going to be able to push this, so I'm going to just recall back to the Nexus here and make sure that all my economy is hunky-dory, and things will be sitting all pretty. So up to 68 workers now. Pig is sitting on 70 himself, so he is looking wonderful right now. Going to take his 4th base as well, along with getting those extra extractors there. Of course, very important to have that extra gas coming in when you are going for this Hydra Roach tech, which it looks like he is going to go for. And, well, the Warp Prism of Minigun trying to come across the map, but unfortunately was spotted by this little rogue group of Hydras, just 8 of them sitting across to the side here. Looks like they're trying to block out any attempts to come through that southern portion of the map, but Pig is now starting to move around. We've got more Roaches and Hydras on the way, along with the Muscular Augments on those Hydras, so that they can move a little bit quicker. +2 on the missile weapons also about to come up as well. So he's really pumping out quite a lot of that tech. He wants to get everything ready to go, and in fact, it could be his own little attack timing here. I'm just sort of looking at the upgrades. We actually see Pneumatized Carapace on the way. I'm a little bit surprised about that. We'll see what he's going to do, because he's sort of got his units very spaced out right now. He's going to go for a drop. He's loaded up some of these roaches, some of the hydras here inside these two overlords. The Pneumatized Carapace is going to kick in just a second, and then the drops will commence. He's even got another couple of overlords just over here. Yeah, he's going to get started with that. So here it goes. Looks like Pig is going to get a lot of damage going if he can get inside the base, but Minigun going to try and get his own work done inside the main base. So Pig has some zealots that are pushing in there, getting some really good damage done on those drones, taking quite a lot of them out. Pig, meanwhile, just trying to force his opponent to sit here down at the front of the base, just trying to, you know, make sure that he is not ready for the drops that are coming in. Minigun, is he going to see that this attack is coming? The Hydra's now inside the main base, of course, inside the Nat as well, pulling some of the probes back because he has no way to really defend against this. We see the Photon Overcharge on top of the Nexus, but the Zealots back at home for Pig are finally being cut down. A couple of Hydras and a singular Roach able to blast that back. Pig losing quite a few of his drones, but he's not going to really worry about that too much, because he has basically stopped all of the mining for Minigun right now. We've only got just this tiny force of probes just working at that third base here, so Minigun is being pulled all over the map. He's got these Colossi and the Stalkers at the front of the third base there, but the Hydras are still here inside the main. These guys have got 1-1. They're about to get 1-2 on their upgrades. They're going to be doing huge amounts of damage, and the attack of the natural is finally cleaned up. The Hydras that are here at the main base are still going. In fact, they're going to look to try and capitalize and take down this Nexus. Will he get it? Yes, he will. Gets the Nexus. The Overlords retreat, and that is a nice little win there for Pig, just taking out that Nexus inside the main. In fact, even gets the Nexus at the third, while the remaining units, the Colossi, are trying to force back the other units that are dropping around his base, and it looks like Minigun is going to fall here with no way to try and get his economy back into shape. The Nexus at the main and the third base gone. He only is going to be mining from that natural, so he's stuck in this position where he's against the Zerg with 4 bases, mining out of all that gas, and just this huge clump of Hydras and Roaches attacking into his bases. So well played by Exile 5 Pig. He's done a good job there with a couple of very interesting drops. Not often you see that kind of play, but I'm expecting we'll see those kinds of interesting things come about a little bit more in Heart of the Swarm due to the upgrades on Hydras. And I hope you all had fun, and I'll catch you all next time.